I normally just disregard her opinion.
No, you don't. I just wish you knew how amazing of a person I really am.
Bon voyage. Happy life, happy journey. I don't know what to say besides that, Meri.
Meri, you bold woman. Honestly, how many people have thought that exact thing about an ex? Countless, right? But Meri, oh, she went ahead and said it. Gotta give credit where it's due. Now, I've never really been on Team Meri before, but this season, I'm here for it. She's got me rooting for her. Every time he showed up, all set to argue, she just shut it down. No drama, no mess, just cool, calm, and done. Team Meri all the way this time. We've got so much to dive into today, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Elena here, and welcome back to my channel reality Nexus X. Sister Wives star Christine Brown is really giving off too much for network TV vibes, huh? That brow raise and lip bite combo. It's like a completely different show. Good for her. Clearly, Kody wasn't giving her what she needed, and now she's absolutely glowing. I'm thrilled she's finally owning her desires and rediscovering herself. But if I wanted this kind of vibe, I'd be watching a different kind of show, not Sister Wives. Honestly, production is to blame for this. They could have given Christine a storyline that was sweet, healing, or even empowering. But instead, they cranked up the sexual tension and left little room for privacy or dignity. They chose to go this route. Shame. Christine put herself out there, and Puddle Monkey just ran with it. And really? She's been in a loveless marriage for years, barely touched, only approached to have more kids. Then she had to watch Kody fall madly in love with someone else and get scolded for not being friendlier to the new wife. After all that trauma, and clearly some much-needed therapy, Christine's earned the right to do whatever she wants now. Let's not forget, she watched Kody fall for Robyn while pregnant and working night shifts, while Robyn didn't even have a job. As far as I'm concerned, Christine's got a free pass. I can't wait for this show to wrap up so the OG3 can drop their tell-all books. That's going to be gold. Plus, is TLC overstepping its boundaries? I get it, we love the drama, but giving Kody Brown a platform to verbally abuse his family feels like it's gone too far. Some of the things that come out of his mouth are just plain unhinged, and it's starting to feel like we're watching something dangerous unfold. I also can't wrap my head around how these women, as mothers, are still participating in this. There are young kids involved, and they're getting dragged through the mud by this man on national television. One child has already taken his own life after texting about the show, saying he hated it but missed the days when they pretended to be happy. If it were my kids, contract or not, I'd be out. It's getting harder to watch, but like a bad book that you've invested too much time in, we all want to see how it ends. Honestly though, this isn't the first time TLC has crossed a line. They've got a track record. One of their producers was a predator who assaulted child stars, and they're behind other shows like The Duggars, Little People, Big World, and I Am Jazz. They thrive on families struggling and falling apart for ratings. Also, I think you're definitely not alone in feeling that the sister wives may not have been the best moms at times. While a lot of the focus has been on how strong and admirable Janelle, Christine, and Meri seem for leaving Kody, it's easy to overlook the impact their choices may have had on their children. The parentification of the older kids is a big issue. Having the older siblings shoulder so much responsibility is a common theme in large families, but it feels especially pronounced here. Add in the sheer number of kids and the moms working all the time, and it's hard not to wonder if the younger children got the attention they really needed. Gwendolyn talking about bullying that went unaddressed suggests that these homes may not have always felt emotionally safe. On the flip side, Robyn seems to go too far in the other direction, smothering her children and not giving them the room to grow into independent adults. It's a fine balance between neglect and overbearing, and neither extreme is healthy for kids. Meri, with just one child, probably had more capacity to focus on being a good mom. But overall, there's been questionable behavior from all the parents at one point or another. Yet, despite these challenges, there's no denying that some of the kids turned out great. Gabe, with his emotional intelligence, and Hunter, who's shown resilience and responsibility, are good examples. Aspen also seems to be a kind and grounded person in a solid marriage, and her support for her siblings speaks volumes about the relationships within the family. The fact that most of the kids are close to their moms suggests that even with the parentification and instability from all the moving, they did have emotional support growing up. But there's also the issue of medical neglect, especially when it comes to things like Isabel's scoliosis. It's one thing to struggle financially in the early days, but once they were living in $500,000 homes, it becomes harder to justify not addressing serious medical needs. It shows a real lack of prioritizing the children's well-being in some cases. So, while there are valid criticisms, the family dynamic is a complicated mix of both positives and serious shortcomings.
I just wish you knew how amazing of a person I really am.
Bon voyage. Happy life, happy journey.
What? The cringe is off the charts. Brutal, dumbfounding. There just aren't enough words. Kody is such a clown. Honestly, I'm shocked he didn't take a moment to mansplain that bon voyage is French, because a crepe is basically a French burrito, right? He really needs to take his bon voyage and haul himself back to Robyn's house, film there, and leave Meri alone. This guy spent years trash-talking her, wishing she'd just go away, but then can't seem to keep his distance. He's literally letting himself into her house like he belongs there. Meanwhile, he's spending more time on camera with the woman he claims to never have loved than with Robyn, his so-called soulmate. F. Kody Brown, seriously.
I normally just disregard her opinion.
No, you don't.
I wish Meri had stuck to her guns when she said that. Instead, she softened it with, "I know you care a lot about others' opinions," when she should have just called it what it was, Robyn's opinion. But of course, Kody seemed to get all defensive. I think he's finally realizing that everyone sees through the act. It's been clear for a while that Robyn has been pulling the strings since she joined the family, but Kody's desperate to keep up the illusion that he's the one in charge. What makes his denial even funnier is that in the previous episode, he admitted he kept dragging things out with Meri because Robyn told him to pray more. Like, seriously? He acts like he's his own man, but it's obvious Donkey Wife has Baldylocks completely convinced that her ideas are his own. Robyn is low-key Machiavellian, and Kody's just dancing to her tune without even realizing it. As well as, let's put polygamy on trial for a moment. Seriously, can we even imagine a dad managing to shower love and compassion on 18 kids and all their families? I mean, come on. I have to ask, what was Kody thinking? It's like polygamy handed him a ticking time bomb. With his personality, it's a wonder he can keep one relationship afloat, let alone juggle several. The religion doesn't even bother to assess anyone's capacity. They just hand over women like party favors. Talk about a recipe for disaster. Now, let's talk about Kody's spectacular failings. I genuinely believe he checked out of those relationships during coronavirus, opting to go full-on monogamous with Robyn. Any attempt to pretend otherwise was just Kody tiptoeing around Robyn's fantasies. The last thing he wanted was for the other wives to leave. After all, that's a common occurrence in their faith. But let's face it, Kody's ego couldn't handle the humiliation of a total meltdown. He thought the original wives would just roll with it, like they had in the past. Newsflash, Kody doesn't give a hoot if people feel unloved. This whole setup was doomed from the start. Plus, I can't believe the nonsense that spills out of sister wives star Kody and Robyn's mouths. I just watched the latest episode, and honestly, Kody is completely losing it. It seems to me he's cozying up to Meri because he still wants her financial support. Honestly, I love how Meri finally stood up to him. And can we talk about that soundbite from next week's episode? Robyn claims her wedding wasn't just about her, but about the whole family. Please, she had a gorgeous dress, a lavish ceremony, and an 11-day honeymoon. I can't stand them. I've said it before. I hope Christine, Janelle, and any kids who want to join in on the fun sue him into the poorhouse. On a separate note, my Keltie drives me crazy. I can't stand listening to her ramble on. Just needed to vent. Seriously, I don't get how these two haven't crawled under a rock by now. I haven't seen a single positive comment about them in ages. If I were as universally hated as they are, I'd want to hide from the world. That kind of negativity would mess me up. And let's not forget Robyn's sacrifice for her wedding to be a celebration for Christine, Meri, and Janelle. She really sees herself as some sort of saint. Years ago, during one of those talking head segments, Kody mentioned how some of his wives didn't get the wedding they wanted, and you could just tell he was looking at Robyn. It was clear then that she felt sorry for herself because her wedding didn't meet her expectations. Meanwhile, the fans were all feeling for Christine and Janelle, thinking their weddings were the real tragedies. However, what did they really expect when they brought sister wives star Robyn Brown into the mix? Time and again, we hear her complaining about feeling like a stepmom and not an equal parent. But seriously, what did they think would happen? By the time she came along, the older kids were already teens or preteens, and they had their own opinions on the situation. She also brought 3 kids of her own into the mix. Were they just supposed to pretend they were all biologically related? Did they genuinely think the kids would accept her like she had been there from the start, and treat her the same as the women who raised them? It baffles me why they resisted acknowledging that Robyn and her kids are essentially stepfamily to the original kids when that's exactly what they are. Robyn's children had a dad they grew up with, yet she insisted they call Kody dad. That's just bizarre. And asking the 12-plus OG kids to accept Robyn's kids as their full siblings. That's a wild move. Expecting them to be okay with these step-siblings calling their dad dad? Yikes. Blending families is already a tricky business, especially when each parent has just one child. It's got to be 10 times more complicated when there are multiple kids involved. Do they think anything through? It's like a series of bad decisions just piling up. Take bringing Robyn into the family, for instance, or the genius move of buying land and relocating to expensive Flagstaff, giving up their more ideal situation in Vegas. Honestly, Kody's favoritism toward Robyn would have eventually torn the family apart anyway, though it might have just taken longer to unfold. And let's not forget their history of moving. I think they mentioned moving like 19 times in the past. Not sure if that's the exact number, but it was definitely a lot. Furthermore, Sister Wives star Kody Brown really had the audacity to say, "If I'm in love with a woman, it's her fault." I mean, seriously. He basically just threw Meri under the bus with that one. Am I surprised? Not at all. Am I still furious? Absolutely. He listed all these things he would do for a woman he loves, yet not a single one of those things has been done for the OG3 in years. Like, seriously, the last decade. I can't stand him. It's like his motto is, if I love you, it's your fault. If I hate you, it's your fault. This guy is completely incapable of taking responsibility for his own actions. For years, he's blamed polygamy and living in a monogamous world for all his shortcomings. And now he's just passing the buck to his wives and kids for all his failures. Christine nailed it in the last episode when she said that falling in love with her soulmate, David, made her realize why Kody only ever wanted to be with Robyn. Honestly, he should have had the guts to be upfront with the OG wives. He could have told them that while he loved each of them, he felt a deeper connection with Robyn and wanted to pursue a monogamous relationship. They could have had a real conversation about how to move forward as a family and co-parents. People would have respected him more for that. Instead, he just abandoned his first 3 wives and 13 kids. And sure, He did do some of those things for Meri, Janelle, and Christine at different points, but come on. I think he thought he was being clever by deflecting the blame onto Robyn, who's always trying to earn his favor, and twisting it around to blame anyone he doesn't favor. It's like in his mind, love has to be earned. What a ridiculous perspective. Additionally, let's talk about Sister Wives star Robyn and her real estate maneuvers. To get into her Vegas house, the OG3 had to pitch in family funds to clear Robyn's first marriage debt. Let's be real, this was probably just her personal shopping spree disguised as family debt. At that point, Robyn didn't have a dime to her name, so any family funds contributed to her down payment on that house. Her Vegas house had both landscaping and hardscaping, which can get pretty pricey, cutting into the net equity she made when selling it. But then, what does she do? She takes those proceeds and buys into the McMansion. Spoiler alert, she couldn't even get into that place without the OG3 helping with the down payment. If you set aside the everyday expenses like food, those are hard to track over time. The amount Robyn has profited off the OG3 is staggering when you look at the big-ticket items. She found herself a guy to cozy up to, and who just happened to have wives that would back her and her kids financially. Now, here's what I think Robyn and Kody owe the OG3 in terms of repayment, plus interest. Robyn's first marriage debt. The contributions made from family funds toward Robyn's Vegas house down payment. The additional costs from her Vegas house, like hardscaping, etc. The down payment for the McMansion. Major repairs to the McMansion financed with family funds. Property taxes for the McMansion and the land exclusively owned by Robyn and Kody, also paid for with family funds. Christine made a key point when she mentioned that Kody and Robyn always shared their bills. Their story, even with the TV edits, echoes that participant from the polygamy panel who described how her husband and second wife expected her to foot the bill for both of them. It's all about budgeting better, right? Too bad the OG3 couldn't manage their finances like Robyn claims she can. Moreover, the reality star Kody Brown finally spills some truth. Is he just revealing his own shortcomings, or is he actually acknowledging the cognitive dissonance this sub has been calling him out on? And can we talk about those Botox lips? They look absolutely ridiculous in that last screen grab. Seriously, he always has that I desperately need chapstick vibe going on. Like, come on, get some medicated chapstick for those lips. They need some serious healing and protection. At the end of the day, Kody seems to be trying to butter up to Christine because he knows she's got him cornered with that lawsuit. It's like he's scrambling to keep his footing. Also, Sister Wives star Robyn Brown's debt saga is a wild ride, and I just started watching this on season 5. Was her credit really that terrible after her divorce? She claims she took responsibility for the debt to escape the marriage, saying she was broke and living in a trailer with no heat. But hold up, at the beginning of the show, she was living in a duplex and driving a van. That definitely raises some eyebrows. I've seen plenty of discussions about her spending habits, so I'm a bit skeptical about her claims. Here's the scoop. Robyn says she took on the debt to get out of her marriage, but legal records show that Preston was actually the one who filed for divorce. So it's not quite as simple as she makes it sound. As for the 3 last names, they belong to her biological dad, her stepdad, and then her ex-husband. A family member of Preston's even came forward, claiming she was drowning in credit card debt from her spending. Apparently, Preston's family helped her pay it off, but instead of managing it, she just racked up another $30,000 afterward. And let's not forget, he's the one who ended up filing for divorce because he was losing his business. And Robyn had been trashing his reputation with claims of abuse that apparently never happened. Contrary to her claims, Robyn never actually lived in that trailer with no heat. Pictures from the inside show a wood-burning fireplace or stove. And it turns out the place she lived in when the show started was actually one of her stepdad's rental properties. Regarding her spending habits, Preston's family stated she would have his nieces watch the kids while she went out shopping, paying them in clothes and stashing the rest in a locked storage area in the back of the house, something Preston was completely unaware of. When they exposed this online, he asked them to take it down to protect his children. As for her names, she started as Robyn Mark, her birth father's name, took on Sullivan, her stepdad's name, then became Jessup when she married Preston, and finally adopted the Brown name before legally marrying Kody. It's all a bit shady, don't you think? Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and much love to you all.